And welcome to my kitchen. My name is Ruth Butler and I'm a 39-year-old mother of 4. During the day I make cakes and at night I dream of cakes. Cakes are what I do and I love it. I'm lucky enough to have a large enough kitchen that this entire wall is dedicated to my cake stuff. My supplies, I have my fondant and my colors and my tools. I also have the lovely airbrush machine that my husband gave me for my anniversary because he's a sweet man. I also have all my cake pans in here. I use just the regular round, square, rectangle cakes. If I have a special shaped cake, I always make it out of a sheet pan and then I sculpt it, and I love doing that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and make a cake for you. Okay, so first let me get my recipe out of this book here. We'll start making this vanilla cake. I've already got the butter in the mixer here so that we can get going. And I'm going to add some sugar. It's 21 ounces for one batch, and I'm doing a double batch today so that we can make a large cake. So all I'm going to do is cream this together, and then we're going to add some more ingredients. I'm going to add the vanilla and salt, and here we go. Let that combine itself all together. And then I'm going to run to the refrigerator and get some egg whites that I've already separated. So it's 8 ounces of egg whites, and since we're double, we've got 16 in here. And then we're going to scrape down that bowl so that it all gets incorporated really good. Make sure it's all combined. Okay, now that we've got that all mixed and ready for the rest of the ingredients, I'm going to add my baking powder to my cake flour and my all-purpose flour that's already been sifted together. And then we're going to alternate adding the cake flour, or the flours and milk, into our batter. And it's going to make a delicious cake for us. Now if I go too fast, I'll have flour all over the kitchen, which happens quite often because I like to go fast. Okay, we've got all of our cake ingredients in here. It's all mixed and incorporated, and we're going to stick it in a quarter sheet pan. I've already covered this with some cake release so that our cake comes out perfectly. I typically bake my cakes, if the recipe calls for 350, I bake them at about 325. I find that it bakes a more even cake so that we don't have the big bump in the middle, which you have to cut off anyway, so it's a waste. So lower temperature, better cake there. So I'm going to stick this in the oven and then we'll see what we get from there. Okay, so now that we have the cake in the oven, I wanted to talk real quick about the design process. When I have a client call me and tell me they are interested in a cake, I get some information from them, maybe some favorite things of the person that they're making the cake for, and then I go to town on my sketchbook. I have all kinds of sketches in here for cakes that I want to make or cakes that people want. And so I'll go ahead and let you take a look at that. So we'll start here with A Nightmare Before Christmas groom's cake. This couple wanted this as their wedding cake, but I talked them into a groom cake and a regular traditional wedding cake, which they were very grateful for. They were both into this, and while I was making Jack Skeleton and Sally, I was sculpting and playing with that fondant, and I really understood more about sculpting and what maybe an artist would be doing with that. The next one that I wanted to show you was a fish cake, and it was a creel that you put your fish in after you go fishing. So it was made with buttercream buttercream on the outside, and then we had a fondant fish sticking out of the top, so it was really fun. Okay, the last one that I'm going to show you is a cake that I did 3 designs for today's cake, and this one is really fun and exciting, and we've got some flashing lights in it, and it says, "Pick me, pick me." Okay, so we've taken the cake out of the oven, we've cooled it, and I've sliced it into thirds and layered it, put the buttercream on it, so now we're ready to cover it with some fondant. I have some chocolate fondant that I've already kneaded together. I'm going to get some cornstarch and starch up my countertop here. I'm I'm gonna roll it out just so we can get a nice even covering on the cake. Now I still do this the old-fashioned way. I don't have an actual sheeter like Buddy does, where he gets to just put it through the sheeter and you're done. So we got to do some hard labor here and roll this out. Okay, so I rolled out all the fondant. Now we're gonna get this up and we're gonna put it on our cake and make it all nice and smooth. This is a fun cake here. And then we're just gonna smooth this out. This can be very time consuming, so make sure you don't get any creases or tears in the fondant. Make sure it's all nice and smooth. It's important to get your buttercream smooth beforehand because it's gonna take that shape. Okay, so we're all done smoothing this out. We're ready to start some decorating. The next time you'll see this cake, it'll be our finished product and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so I'm just putting the final touches here on our cake. Go ahead and spin it around so you can see it. As you can see, my bags are packed. I have my airline ticket and I'm ready to go.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Some people make quilts out of material, but anything they can do, I can do better out of cake. Quilts may warm the outside, but my quilt cake will warm your heart. You call that a guitar cake? Now this is a guitar cake. That's creepy. Sweet ladybug cake for a sweet baby girl. Spam dog, anyone? My favorite response is when people say, that's not a cake. Oh, yes it is. Flat tires and flower power. Somebody must have been on a trip when they made that cake. Now, if you want to take a real trip, you want to do it in this 1956 Porsche Spyder.